Some kindness happens quietly, without asking for thanks, without asking to be seen. This is an old Chinese folktale about a poor farmer, a mysterious helper, and a girl who came from a snail shell. This is the Snail Maiden. Long ago, in a small village surrounded by rice fields and slow-moving rivers, there lived a young man named Liang. Liang was poor. He owned a small, worn-down cottage and a single piece of farmland. He had no family left, no wealth, and no one to share his meals with. Every day before sunrise, Liang would take his tools and walk to the fields. He worked quietly and patiently from morning until dusk. Though his life was hard, he was known in the village for one thing. He was kind. He never argued with his neighbors. He helped the elderly carry water. He shared what little rice he had with those who needed it more. But kindness, as he had learned, did not make life easier. One evening, after a long day in the fields, Liang went to the river to wash his hands and tools. As the water flowed gently past him, something caught his eye. Near the riverbank, half hidden in the mud, was a large and beautiful snail shell shimmering softly in the fading light. Liang knelt down and examined it. He thought it could be sold for a little money, but he saw that it was alive. Instead of taking it to the market, Liang carefully lifted the snail and placed it into a small clay jar filled with clean water. He spoke softly, saying that it could stay and at least be safe. He brought the jar home and placed it on a shelf in his kitchen, expecting nothing in return. The next morning, Liang left early for the fields as usual. But that evening, when he returned home, something felt different. The door was closed properly, the floor was swept clean. A simple meal of rice and vegetables sat warm on the table. Liang froze. He lived alone. At first, he thought a neighbor might have stopped by. But the same thing happened the next day and the day after that. Each evening, his house was clean, food was prepared, and water was boiled, yet no one was ever there. Confused and uneasy, Liang asked his neighbors, but no one had entered his home. That night, Liang lay awake, listening. The following day, Liang pretended to leave for the fields, but quietly circled back and hid behind the door. Time passed. Then slowly, something impossible happened. From the clay jar on the shelf, the snail shell began to glow softly. The shell opened, and from it stepped a young woman dressed in simple clothes, her movements calm and graceful. She began sweeping the floor, lighting the fire, and cooking rice with practiced care. Liang gasped. The woman froze. Their eyes met. There was fear in her expression, but also relief. She spoke softly, saying she did not mean to frighten him and that she was the Snail Maiden. She explained that she was a spirit who lived inside the snail shell. When Liang had found her in the river, he could have sold her, crushed her, or ignored her, but he protected her instead. She wished to repay his kindness, so while he worked, she cared for his home. Liang listened in silence. He did not feel anger or fear. He felt gratitude. He told her she was welcome to stay as long as she wished. And so, the Snail Maiden remained. From that day on, they lived together peacefully. Liang continued working in the fields, and the Snail Maiden cared for the home. They spoke often about small things, about the weather, about the village. Slowly, their lives grew warmer. The cottage no longer felt empty, and the evenings no longer felt lonely. Over time, affection grew between them, not quickly or loudly, but steadily, like rice growing in a field. They became husband and wife, and for the first time, Liang felt his life was full. But peace rarely lasts forever. One day, a local official passed through the village and heard rumors of a beautiful woman living with a poor farmer. Curious and greedy, the official ordered the Snail Maiden to be brought to him. When she was taken away, the house fell silent again. Liang begged the official to release her. The Snail Maiden looked at Liang one last time and softly reminded him that kindness is never wasted. Then she disappeared, returning to the river and to the shell where she came from. Liang returned to his simple life. He worked the fields and lived quietly. But something had changed. He was no longer lonely. The memory of kindness given and received remained with him. And villagers say that even today, if you walk by the river at dusk, you may see a snail shell shining softly in the water, waiting. This story is not about magic. It is about kindness without expectation. Liang did not help the snail to gain a reward. He helped because it was the right thing to do. And the Snail Maiden did not repay him with grand gestures, but with quiet devotion. Not all kindness is returned immediately. Not all goodness is seen. But kindness changes the world, sometimes in ways we never expect.